And television, Miss Arlene Francis.
And now I'd like you to meet the former Mr. America and parts of Canada, the new body beautiful Jack Leonard.
Thank you. And to my left, one of the most charming of all newspaper ladies, the very lovely and gracious Dorothy Kilgallen.
Thank you. And now I'm happy to be sitting next tonight to my favorite publisher, Mr. Bennett Cerf.
And now the man who keeps the wheels turning for us, our panel moderator, Mr. John Charles Daly.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. We're up to our old tricks tonight. A few modifications here and there, but at the heart of the matter is to try and give my friends on the panel a rather rough time of it for the next half hour. We'll also have our famous mystery guest before the panel a little bit later in the show, and we'll meet our first challenger in just 1 minute. Yes, how do you do? Yes, that's fine. This does not necessarily mean anything, panel, except that in the area of identification usually revealed at this time, there might be a little too much information for you. So have fun. Come with me, won't you, please? And sit down right here. And I wonder if you're familiar with our scoring system, Mr. X.
Yes, I am, Mr.
Good. In
Daly.
that event, let's let the folks at home and our friends here in the theater know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, we'll give you some help. Our guest is salaried, and with that, let's begin the general questioning with Bennett Cerf.
Mr. X, I take it you don't always sign your name that way, is that
That's
correct?
correct.
You can write.
Yes, I can.
Is your name, Mr. X, such that if you had written your real name there, we might have recognized it?
I think you might have.
Is this because your name has appeared in the newspapers within the last several months?
That's correct.
It has appeared. Has it been a very important story that it was connected with, possibly?
This is an area, Bennett, in which it would be very difficult to give a judgment. If we were to take important here to mean, was there substantial public interest, we would have to say yes, wouldn't we, sir?
That's correct.
Yes,
Is it a name, Mr. X, that would be known to a great many people beside possibly some of the members of this panel? Would it be a well-known name?
Well, I would think, Bennett, there are a lot of people who would have a note of recognition if they heard the name, yes.
You're a very husky-looking gentleman, Mr. X. Would that name have any connection with some kind of a major sporting event?
No, sir.
1 down and 9 to go, Miss Bradford.
Mr. X is so attractive, it's thrown me. Mr. X, do men and women come to you in the kind of work that you do?
Yes, they do.
Are they happier as a result of having had some conversation with you?
Sometimes, I would say.
Do you in any way advise or judge them?
Sometimes.
Would any of us ever have come to you or met you in your work? Is it possible?
I don't think so.
No, I would say that this area, dealing with the four of you specifically, that our guest would say no fairly to that. That's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Leonard.
You do deal with men and women.
Yes, I do.
Do they write? Do they write their full name?
Yes, they do.
I thought maybe he was one of those fellows that writes on the water. I don't know. Very bad joke, but I'm here to kill time. Did I ask the question? I guess I get a no. I haven't asked anything yet, but it's very interesting.
Well,
what
you
I have to
asked
say.
if they could write their full name, and the answer was yes, Jack.
Well,
so
thank
go
you,
ahead.
Mr. Daly. I've only had...
You're doing splendidly.
I hope so, for my sake. Do these people come to your place do they come to your place of business, sir?
Yes, they do.
And you deal in men and women, as I asked before. Do you touch them?
Why?
Touch them. Touchles.
No, I don't.
No. That's a no. 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Gilgallen.
Mr. X, is your work more mental than physical?
I would say yes.
Can you do it indoors?
Yes,
Would you say you did it more indoors than out of doors?
that's correct.
Is it a white-collar job?
Yes.
You look rather executive to me. Would you call it an executive job?
Would you call it an executive?
No, I don't think, although in a very broad context we could find some... I just don't think, Dorothy, that you would find afterwards that this would be unfair, that it's not an executive. I would mislead you if we said yes. 4 down and 6 to go, Mr.
Mr. X, you say that men and women have come to you and you have made them happier at
Sometimes.
times. Is that right? Do you perform some kind of a ceremony for them that makes them happier?
Yes, I do.
Sometimes.
Such as making them man and wife, for instance?
Sometimes.
You have that power of making them man and wife.
That's correct, sir.
Yes, the same thought occurred to me that has obviously occurred to Dorothy. Have you made a very, very well-known couple, man and wife, within the past week?
Yes.
Would it have been up Westchester Way?
That's right, Mr. Cerf.
Well, I guess you're Justice Rabinowitz.
That's correct.
That's right. Judge Seymour Rabinowitz of the city of White Plains, who very recently joined Arthur Miller and Marilyn Monroe, just to keep the record.
And had a
all straight.
15th wedding anniversary of his own.
That's correct.
You had a 15th wedding anniversary?
No, the judge did.
The judge had one. Yes, I was going to. This is actually an anniversary week because President Eisenhower is having an anniversary today, and Dr. Heaton, who operated on him, had one yesterday. You're in great company, Judge.
Thank you very
great
much.
company. Now, one thing the judge did say is that any of our small funds that he won would go to the Washington Irving Boy Scout
That's correct.
Council
Yes,
out in his
Marilyn Monroe
area.
does
So we'll flip the rest of the cards to be sure that all the Boy Scouts get a little something. Thank you very much, Judge. Well, a very good beginning panel, but perhaps we can fool you this time. Well, our next challenge...
Sure.
Oh, I'm not going yet.
Oh, well.
Trying to get rid of me. Good night, Ben.
I doubt it. Gee, I'd like to ask that judge a lot of questions about Miss Monroe. Good night, John.
Why don't you keep your mind on your work, Bennett? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us on What's My Line?